18-year-old Praggnanandhaa takes on the current world champion Ding Liren at Norway Chess, and this is the classical game. Praggnanandhaa takes his chair and Ding Liren is about to come. Prag has had a good score against Ding, beating him at Vaikanze 2 consecutive years, 2023 and 24. But in their first encounter here, he was under pressure in the classical game, which ended in a draw, and then lost the Armageddon. So Ding really manages to show some good chess against Prag, and there you have Prag adjusting all his pieces carefully, pressing it carefully, and there you have Ding entering, the world champion who has been the talk of many people in the chess world as to what has been going on with Ding. When will he strike his old form back? When will the Ding that we all know be back? It has been the question on everyone's mind, and maybe it's today that he plays a good game of chess. They shake hands and Prag has the white pieces. Let's see what he begins with. Prag opens the game with 1e4, and e4 is one of Prag's main opening moves. He also sometimes plays d4, c4, knight f3. So he's a very versatile opening player. We get e4, e5, knight comes out, both players develop their knights, and now Prag goes for the Italian game with bishop c4. Of course, this opening is so well known, but it's always exciting to see what is the variation that these players will choose, those little micro decisions that they make. Bishop c5. So the main line has been played, and now first decision is, will Prag castle here first? Yes, he does. He castles. So already the king's position has been determined. Ding also castles. And now will we see any early bishop g5 lines? No. h3 has been played. So this move has been gaining prominence recently, this move h3. D6 is played, and once D6 is played, you have these ideas of winning the bishop sometimes with knight A5. So C3 makes a lot of sense, making a luft for the bishop here. A5, stopping white from gaining space on the queen side. Prag now goes rook e1, a useful move, defending the e4 pawn, preparing d4 at the right time. Ding waits with h6. And now the knight comes to d2. So the knight could go to f1 to g3, and Ding is playing so quickly. You can see that we are on move number 9 and he's used just 54 seconds. So he's clearly well prepared. Prag goes bishop b5. Bishop comes back to b6. And by the way, all of these moves have been seen in this tournament already in the game between Caruana with the white pieces against Firouzja. No, sorry. Caruana with the white pieces against Hikaru Nakamura. So this was already seen there. A4 was played in that game as well. So I think Prag is taking his time, while Ding is very quick. He goes knight d7. So he saw this game, and I think he was impressed with the way in which Nakamura played with f5 in the air now. And Caruana had gone ahead with his knight to c4, which is exactly what Prag does. So you are attacking the bishop here. You want to win that bishop. And Ding now, I guess after some thought, plays his pawn to f5. He's opening up this rook. He's also opening up the bishop here. Pawn takes pawn, taken, and Ding takes back with his bishop. So we are still following that game, and Fabi had here played the move d4, which is a very, very good, logical, strong move. The bishop here is very powerful along with the rook, and so d4 makes a lot of sense. And the point, of course, is that if you take this pawn, I will first take your bishop and then take it with the knight with having the 2 bishop advantage. So e4 is played, kicking the knight away, and now knight d2 is a normal natural move, but knight h2 was played by Caruana, and this is exactly what Pragg also plays. Now the interesting thing for me is that Pragg is already down to 1 hour 22 minutes. So he's taken 38 minutes here, and he's still following the game of Caruana Nakamura. So is he just recollecting the moves, or is he thinking over the board and trying to sort of find the moves? It's an interesting question for me that maybe someday I can ask Pragg. So knight takes bishop, Ding takes back with the knight, and now the move that was played by Fabi was f3, and that gave him a big advantage here. f3 takes, queen f3. He got a very good position. But Pragg goes for queen h5. He puts his queen out there, and now it's time for Ding to think, who had only used his 9 minutes on the clock. He thinks for 15 minutes and plays his knight to e7. So the knight now defends the bishop. For white, it's a little tricky with this pawn on e4. What to do about it? Pragg plays b3, and his idea is to put the bishop on a3, which is a great diagonal for the bishop. c6 is played, attacking the bishop. Now you can go bishop e2 with the idea of bishop g4, or you can put your bishop all the way back to f1. Pragg chooses bishop back to f1. He puts his bishop on the f1 square, and maybe later he wants to play his bishop to a3. Knight d7 played, and this is a nice move here by Ding. He is maybe looking later to get his knight to f6. Pragg goes bishop a3, attacking the knight here, and also this bishop could be a little loose on f5. The bishop comes back to g6. Now the queen is hanging, so queen g4 was played by Pragg. He could have also played queen h4, putting pressure on the e7 knight. Maybe that was also possible, but queen g4, and now king h7. So Pragg definitely having some initiative here, and a good idea now is to maybe get f3 break in, or rook a2 to then move away. But he goes queen d1, and I guess Pragg wanted to bring his knight to g4 to e5. That's the reason why he's played his queen back, and Ding instantly gets his knight to f6, so that if the knight comes to g4, he can actually chop it off. And Pragg now, what is his move going to be? He goes knight to g4, and if you take here, then hg4 seems like a natural move here. Queen g4 seems natural more, but let's see what Pragg decides. Because queen g4, the problem is that now black has a very free hand on the king side with knight f5, queen moving in, the rook joining in, and so on. So hg4 is much better, taking control of the f5 square, but Pragg takes with the queen. He takes with the queen, and already Ding Liren has a great position. He goes rook f7. That is a nice move by Ding. And maybe h4, h5 is what you want to play. No, b4. And this is something that the engines do not like. Like, why would Pragg go b4? Ding quickly gets his knight to f5. A good move. A good move there. His knight is well placed. And now there are some insane ideas here. We'll go through it. B takes a5 played by Pragg first of all. And now the queen takes the pawn. It's attacking the pawn on c3. Bishop b4 played. So this was Pragg's idea. I think he, after going back, he might even push his pawn to a5, just creating this nice bind there on the queen side. But clearly black's position is very solid, and now he goes h4. h4, maybe h5 could be an idea. He goes rook f6, making a square for the bishop on f7 so that it doesn't get trapped. He goes queen h3, and here there are two ideas. One is e3, takes and knight g3 with the bishop coming here. The other one was bishop h5, very powerful move. But he goes bishop f7 and Pragg goes bishop e2. And Ding now plays bishop e6 and offers a draw. Ooh, he offers a draw in a position. Let's have a close look at that. Yeah, there you see a very quiet draw offer. And Pragg looks at his score sheet, sees which move number it is. It is the 30th move. So they cannot offer a draw before 30th move. This is exactly the 30th move. And Pragg is happy to draw. I think Pragg was under pressure throughout the game. He was not very comfortable with his position. You can also see that he had only 19 minutes left and Ding had 54. And I think Pragg asks him, like, why did you offer a draw? Perhaps. And maybe for Ding it was not very comfortable position. And he has agreed to a draw in 10 to 15 minutes. They play the Armageddon now. But clearly a great game by Ding. One of those games where he did not make any errors, but maybe the draw offer was the error in this one.